Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We are so thrilled to have in the studio today. This is one of the iconic events in San Diego, and it's called Cause San Diego and the San Diego Cause Conference. Honored to have in the studio with us Staci Reidinger. She is the co-executive director of Cause San Diego and a co-director of the Cause Conference. How you doing, Staci?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And joined by my longtime friend and colleague, the inimitable Neville Billimoria. He is a senior VP of Marketing and Community Relations for Mission Fed and Cause Conference and everything that deals with cause and good things in San Diego. This guy breathes it. It's in his DNA. And Neville, Cause Conference is important to you.
Indeed it is. I'm glad to be here to help shed the word and get people there and expand who is able to attend and the impact we can make locally.
Right, exactly. And we are joined by our curiosity shipper, and that is Kamara White. We don't call him internships. Kamara just graduated from Mount Carmel High School, will be attending St. Martin's College in Washington State as a communications major.
Congratulations.
With a volleyball scholarship attached to it as well. And Staci, I'm not sure if you even know this, Neville, I was involved in the very first Cause Conference when Parker Pike came up to me and said, okay, that's what you do at the UT, Drew. You do cause marketing and all that business. Would you want to be involved? And I said, sure. So I was on a panel. How many years ago was that?
25.
25 years ago.
Who's counting?
Yeah, trust me, I'm counting. I remember doing that. And if I'm not mistaken, did we do it at USD when it first started? I think we did. And I'm not sure if it was at Shiley Theater or somewhere up there. But Staci, we'll start with you. What's Cause San Diego? How long has it been in business, and how is it tied to the Cause Conference?
Yeah, so Cause San Diego actually just emerged after last year's conference. So for 23 plus years, the conference was really focused on making the nonprofit sector more effective. And last year, when I was helping with the volunteerism, which definitely Neville was heavily involved with that, we really decided we needed to pivot back and focus on the for-profit sector to help them to be more strategic in their giving and so forth. So once the conference was over, we got lots of feedback. We sold out 450 guests, and people were wanting more than just a conference. And that's kind of how Cause San Diego emerged. So what we're doing is trying to bring together, work as a hub to bring together all the different social impact entities that are across San Diego County and getting them to work in a more coordinated fashion, because a lot of the social challenges we're facing, we find that there's a lot of these silos of compassion that are taking place, but unfortunately they don't necessarily work in a coordinated way, which leads us to doing small little good things, but them not necessarily making a big impact. So we're here to accelerate social impact, bringing the nonprofit and for-profit sectors together.
Yeah, it's interesting because one of the things that when we were talking about, cause marketing and all that business, in fact, I had somebody on the show not too long ago, and it depends on what people think the start of it was. A lot of people focus on the 1983 and the Statue of Liberty, where American Express said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to contribute $1 for every single person that gets an American Express card during this time, and then I think 1 penny for every dollar that's spent. They raised $17 million for the restoration of, Statue of Liberty. That's sort of, a lot of people say that is the day when it actually started. I'm sure cause marketing was going around when people were walking upright. It wasn't just cause marketing, and that aspect of it is. But it was really fascinating. And it created a cottage industry of research called Cone Roper Research, as you folks know, tying to, there is a real deal about this is how businesses can make money and actually do things good in the community and so forth. So I thought it was fascinating. Kamara, you got a question for Staci?
Yeah.
I do. So how can San Diego businesses place more focus on caring for people and the environment so it directly translates to employee and customer satisfaction?
Oh, thank you for that question. So what I'd say is that we're actually attacking this from two different areas. When I say attack, I have a 24-year history as a Marine, so I might use some of that language. I retired from the Marine Corps in 2017.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
You're welcome. But we really see two things. So a business is actually its own ecosystem. So they themselves, I mean, if they contribute and take care of their employees, they're actually doing a part of what we're looking for social impact. But a second piece that we're finding through research is that there's a lot of people who just don't feel that they want to go to work just for profit. They want something bigger and a bigger purpose. And getting those employees plus getting those businesses to realize when they do good in the community, they can have an increase in their ROI. They can actually have more productivity, talent acquisition, talent retention, customer satisfaction. So all of those things layer in.
And that is actually so spot on. I'm Neville to address this as well. But there was a great study done. I think they had about 25 countries involved, but they sort of broke it out from England, Canada, the United States. When they asked citizens, what do they consider to be a company that's a great corporate citizen? None of them said about giving money. They said about how they treat employees, because your neighbors are talking about your business and say, do you like working for fill in the blank, Mission Fed or whatever. Neville, we talk about this quite a bit about what you folks have done at Mission Fed, which is you guys are at the top of your game. You don't do checkbook philanthropy. You do absolute Mission Fed employee volunteerism. You guys are just ingrained in the community and you volunteer in the community. And talk about what that does for people that want to work for Mission Fed.
Well, as you heard from Staci, everybody increasingly, particularly younger generations, are looking for meaning and purpose in their work. It's not about just the transactional, you give me a paycheck and I produce some widget and see you next time. I think that ship has sailed. Post-COVID, the great rethink is really inviting us to rethink our relationship to our world of work and how we want to contribute. And in the context of Cause San Diego, I think I can boil it down to one line: that strategic purpose drives sustainable profit. But that profit doesn't come just in cold hard cash. That comes in value exchange back to your stakeholders, including your employees who know they matter, want to work for a place where they're valued, and that changes the culture and that changes the impact back to not just helping nonprofits be viable, but how are you successful? And how can businesses as forces for good do the same thing?
Yeah, without question. We are chatting with Staci Reidinger. She is the co-executive director of Cause San Diego and the co-director of the San Diego Cause Conference. It'll be on September the 14th. We'll get into some of the details on that, the speakers and all that business, joined by her colleague Neville Billimoria, volunteering for the Cause Conference, has been involved in this thing. Have you been involved all 20?
No.
You can't, because you just got here to San Diego how many years ago?
I've been in San Diego a while. I've been at Mission Fed for 21 years. I think I've been involved with the Cause Conference for about a decade.
Yeah, okay, right, exactly, which fits into your DNA without question. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show in this area. So, Staci, when they go to the conference on the 14th, do you have the breakout sessions already up on the website?
Those are actually going to be hitting by Monday. So
Okay.
right now we have our excellent VIP speakers that are up, and I wanted to share some tidbits about that.
Please.
As well as a little bit about our breakout sessions. First thing I want to share with everyone that comes out to this is that it's our 25th year anniversary. So we are going to have some special things that go into that. We're going to give out some special awards to individuals and businesses and nonprofits that are walking the walk. We're also going to do a special scholarship this year. Usually it's only a scholarship that's about $1,000 or $2,000. We're going to give up to $25,000 in scholarships. This year we have earmarked tickets for college students.
Nice.
We really want them in. We're doing a speed mentoring, business speed mentoring session for our college students coming in to connect them with business leaders there. But what I'm really excited about are these amazing speakers. So last year we stayed hyper-local. We had Gary Ridge, WD-40, we had BioFem, we had other organizations. But this year we leaned in with a key partner, which is called Conscious Capitalism. And Conscious Capitalism formed in about 2015. John Mackey, who was the co-founder of Whole Foods Market, he helped to bring this thing forward. And so there's chapters around the country, and the San Diego chapter is involved with it this year. So they helped us bring in some world-class speakers. One I want to speak about, and we talked about it just a minute ago, about mutuality, right? So economics and mutuality, this is a new program that's put forward. Jay Jacobs coming in to speak with us. He's actually going to be virtual, but he's going to do a Q&A with everyone there at the state-of-the-art place we're going to be at, Sharp Previs Innovation Center this year. It's a brand new building built by Sharp headquarters. But he's going to come in and talk about his work at Mars Inc. That's the candy bar place. They are loaded with lots of money, but also lots of compassion for our world. So they developed this economics of mutuality type of program, and it's spun off into its own foundation, its own organization now. And Jay Jacobs is going to talk all about that. He's going to talk about how there can be a win-win between society and business, and how it doesn't have to be an either or. Additional people that are coming in, I'm really excited about. We just added him to the website. His name's J.R. Redmond. He's an NFL Super Bowl 36 winner. He was a running back. He played for the Oakland Raiders and for the New England Patriots. He won the game. It was Patriots against the St. Louis Rams. Look at me, football, not person. But he's going to come in and talk about his journey. He actually went from football, NFL star, dropped down into homelessness. Lots of things happened after leaving, and then it's taken him on a journey to philanthropy. Now he has a foundation. He's giving back. He's back on his feet. He's here in Southern California doing a lot of great work. So excited about him. And then, gosh, we have so many others. We have Jake Wood. He founded Team Rubicon, which is an international nonprofit. He's a Marine. I do have to give him a shout out. Him and veterans set up this organization to do disaster response and rescue, and they also do rehabilitation after all types of natural disasters. So he'll come in and talk about that. We've got Teresa Carrington. She's coming in. She actually developed a world-class program to help women in developing countries with being able to create microfinance opportunities to build their business and things like that. So go to our website. We have all of their bios that are set up there. You can learn more about them. Our agenda will drop. We're looking at probably Monday that we'll have that out. And tickets are on sale. You can come to our website and all that good stuff.
That's great. We're chatting with Staci Reidinger. She is the co-executive director of Cause San Diego and co-director of the San Diego Cause Conference. It'll be on September the 14th. Go ahead and look on the website. Probably by Monday, it'll have all of the key information on there, joined by Neville Billimoria, Senior VP of Marketing Community Relations for Mission Fed Credit Union and a volunteer with the Cause Conference. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 17th year in this beautiful Mission Fed studio in Scripps Ranch. And Mission Fed, as everybody knows, and if they don't know, they should, has been doing great things in this community for more than 60 years. Honored to be joined by my guest co-host, Kamara White, be an incoming St. Martin's College communications major on a volleyball scholarship. We come back from break. We're going to talk more with Staci and Neville about who would be a great attendee at this. And of course, that's a wide swath in this area. And I know Kamara is going to want to ask some questions also about how we can get our listeners engaged when we return after this break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show broadcast here at the Mission Fed Studios. Been a great sponsor of the show and great community leader for many years, joined by our friends chatting about everything Cause San Diego and San Diego Cause Conference. Staci Reidinger, she is the co-executive director of Cause San Diego and the co-director of the Cause Conference, joined by Neville Billimoria, senior VP of Marketing and Community Relations for Mission Fed Credit Union, has been involved with the conference for more than 10 years, joined by my guest co-host, Kamara White, who'll be an incoming freshman at St. Martin's College, majoring in communications. If you can indulge me just for 2 seconds, one of the things that we were really proud of when I was at the Union Tribune, and I think it's really hit Cause Marketing on the head, is that we used to be the sponsor of Union Tribune Kids News Day. And that was one day a year we sold newspapers on street corners throughout San Diego County. It was a special edition. Sold it for $1. All the proceeds benefited Rady Children's Hospital. We did special section that would get information with Rady Children's Hospital. So here's a way where obviously we're helping Rady's. We're raising money for Rady's, but heaven forbid we're actually doing some things for the paper as well. It was just a natural fit in this, because when people ask me, well, what is Cause Marketing? Well, if you do it the right way, you're benefiting everybody involved, including your company as well. Sometimes easier said than done, on this. So I'm assuming you're going to have maybe some breakouts that are going to focus on how businesses can do this. Is that right, Staci?
Well, actually, we're actually not really focusing very much on Cause Marketing.
Okay.
It does layer into what we kind of have overall, because if we have public and private partnership, that often leans into Cause Marketing.
Right.
But what I would say for the panels this year, what we're getting into, to take a step back last year when we pivoted toward focusing on the for-profit sector, we did education and inspiration. This year, we're going to go in education, inspiration, and activation. And what I mean by that is that we don't want them just to come in, have a great day, learn something, and go back to their office and kind of be status quo. We're actually going to be providing a Cause San Diego localized social impact playbook. We're going to have a breakout session where people get a chance to look into that, see where they are in their social impact journey, and plant a seed. And then what we plan to do after this conference is reach back to them a couple of months and actually check in with them to see if they actually have made any progress or need any help in those areas, and refer them to others that might help them. But there will be Cause Marketing that's involved, because most of actually what we're doing in itself is Cause Marketing, if anything.
It is.
But some of our other breakout sessions, we're going to have San Diego Community Power coming out, talking about green opportunities and energy. They're going to have a great panel. We have the San Diego Regional Economic Development. What does the C stand for? EDC. Corporation, exactly.
Mark Cafferty's group.
So we'll have the regional EDC out. They're going to be talking about the mutuality and how businesses working together with the nonprofit side at that part. They'll have they'll have let's see who's on that one with him. Is that Mission? What's the My Point? My Point Credit Union's going to be on that panel with them. And then we've got Lennar. Oh my gosh, the Lennar panel is going to be amazing. Lennar's going to be on with Homemade San Diego talking about their partnership. We'll have American Heart Association talking with Quidel Ortho about theirs. So list goes on and on. We'll start trickling that out, maybe even before Monday, because it's so exciting to get those pieces together. But the biggest thing we want people to know when they come to this is it's a time for them. We're going to leave lots of space for networking. We find that is very important when we do these events, but we really are wanting them to dig deep and think about how they are currently operating and if there's something they could do better. One of our sessions is going to be on the UN sustainability goals. And we're going to talk about those 17 goals and whether or not those businesses that are there. And by the way, corporate social responsibility, there's also something called nonprofit social responsibility. So when we bring these topics up, it's about all organizations. An organization that's created an ecosystem of employees and suppliers and partners, they have as much to learn about social responsibility as the for-profit side does. So that'll be a little bit of our tie as well, to have them not think that they're just there in order to find potential funders or partners, but also How about the way that you're running your own nonprofit, and if you can do that better?
Well, I know you were chatting with my good friend Paula Cordero. So Paula was on the show last week talking about all the cool stuff they do with the Kroc piece and studies and justice and all that business. And Neville, that's into your wheelhouse. How are we going to do things that are purposeful? Just talk about how critical that is. Focusing on purpose.
Well, as I said earlier, strategic purpose drives sustainable profit. And it's predicated, as you're hearing today, with the ideation of the cause conference pivoting, right? It started with cause marketing, moved to cause branding, moved to corporate social responsibility, moved to ESGs. And now it's about how can we have right identification about why organizations exist, forget your tax status, what you're in the business of doing, why you actually exist, and what your purpose is, and how you can measure the right things for social impact. So at the end of the day, if you're unable and unwilling to re-identify yourselves and your place in the ecosystem, you're arguably already extinct. You just don't know it yet.
Okay, Drew, are you reading my mind? I was on a Zoom with Paula this morning at 8:30.
Well, she just sent me an email.
Okay, because she'll have a panel at the conference. I was like, are you reading my mind?
Yeah, well, we've been doing this show for 17 years, as Neville knows. And, it's funny because this is what we talk about. And everybody who's on the show is doing some of this aspect of it. And the whole focus of it is, what are you doing in the community, whether you're a CEO of a for-profit, or of a nonprofit, Neville's been on about as many as other folks on. You can't talk about it enough. Mm-hmm. You really can't, that, and so forth. And that's why we're all, very much, geeked up about these types of things. You got to say it once, you got to say it twice, you got to say it 575 times. And part of it is just communicating and sharing that information. Because one of the things that used to pain me the most when I was running community and public relations for the UT was, boy, I wish I would have known about that, because we could have gone and helped, okay? Or you hear someone said, gee, I wish I would have known that the UT is involved in X, Y, and Z. I have 45 people that could have done this,
Mm-hmm.
And that's half the battle on it. I know, Kumar, you have a question?
Yes. What is a big significant challenge that you guys face today in the community and for those you serve?
So if we're talking about the broader landscape of causes here in San Diego, the biggest one that you can't turn on the TV, look on anything online or print, is about homelessness and the lack of affordable housing that's here. We all know, or many of us may know, that they just banned encampments, which obviously those people need somewhere to go afterwards. So that is a huge issue, and I'm glad you brought it up, because you may be reading my mind as well. We're actually going to have a special exhibition at our conference about his homelessness here in San Diego County. Mm-hmm. We're leaning in. We've got Donnie D is going to be speaking. He's the CEO of San Diego Rescue Mission. He's speaking at our conference, but we'll also have Father Joe's leaning in to help us with this exhibit. Mm-hmm. It's going to be an art installation, and it's going to be something that really emits emotion and gets people involved to understand that large piece that it touches so many different areas. It touches mental health. It touches poverty alleviation, food insecurity, lack of quality health care. So all of those things, we really want to focus on that one this year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Neville?
So again, serendipity. Monday, Donnie D and the San Diego Rescue Mission are hosting a mayor's symposium where we're having mayors from many of the cities and counties, the cities in the county of San Diego. Mission Fed is the sponsor of that event. I'll be speaking at that event to speak to the importance of the homelessness issue and unshelteredness, and how we can stand up our most forgotten and oftentimes furthest from opportunity brothers and sisters, that if we can't solve that, we got a real problem on our hands. That and food insufficiency, which, by the way, continues to increase in San Diego. We don't realize how many kids only eat at school and actually over the weekend don't get a meal. And so there's a backpack program through the San Diego Food Bank that we support as well to make sure that they can take food home.
And, so I'm going to do Serendipity 2.0.
Right.
It's because Jim Vargas has been a frequent guest on our show. He comes on every about 6-7 weeks. Charles Parisi, the CEO and founder of Cloudcast Media, was on Father Joe's board for 10 years and so forth. And we worked with Jim when Jim was at the Copley Press. We talked about harm reduction. That was the big topic last Friday in this aspect of it. And you're spot on about food insecurity, Neville. And this is a very, very tough time for kids because, there's ways that we can get food to the schools and all that business during the school year, but that doesn't happen in the summer, and so that always is a huge challenge. And something I think that is very, very important to both of you folks on this is the fact that it never ceases to amaze me how many people in San Diego don't know that there are a lot of kids that have never been to the beach, that have never been to the mountains, have never been to a lake, have never been to a Padres game, whatever the case may be. They're out there, folks. This is why you got to talk about this stuff. And what you guys are doing with Cause San Diego and the Cause Conference, and what you folks do on almost an incessant basis is so critical in that area. So, Staci, what can we do to support your efforts besides go to the conference and all that business? But Cause San Diego doesn't stop at the conference. Yeah. It goes on. What else can we do to support you?
Well, I just say if you could do your part to really try to connect the pieces and get people to work in a more strategic, coordinated manner. If you're working and volunteering with a nonprofit or you're with a for-profit, if you're on the for-profit side, are you involved with those boards for those nonprofits? Are you looking out to see what their longer-term goals are and trying to shore them up and be a part of that, whether that be through employee engagement, through corporate giving, or otherwise? And then I would just say that, especially on the part of homelessness, I've been on the Homemade board since 2018, board chair, I've been their interim ED. I would just say that, there are so many people in need in our county, and just in particular, we have thousands of people who are living unhoused, and just understand they're human and to give them dignity and to see what you can do as an individual to contribute to whatever solutions are out there for alternative housing. We have to come up with alternative housing solutions. We just don't have a grip on that, and for our government at the state and local level to spend billions of dollars every couple of years and to still have this issue grow and grow, we need to. A person I know from Lennar that I've worked with, he says, if you want something different, you have to do something different. So I think that's very important for us to do, and that's what we're doing with Cause. Yeah. One thing cool about Cause is that we're not beholden to anyone. We're an independent voice, and so we can kind of move in certain areas and bring people in and connect people who might be otherwise held back by a bureaucracy that they work within, whether that be an educational institution, a for-profit business, or even a nonprofit, a foundation. So we hope to be that open voice that we can work with. And I do want to mention Lucky Duck Foundation. They were with us last year. They're going to be here again. They're very much involved in this homeless piece. And I did want to shout out to some of our great sponsors because I don't want them to be left in the dark here. So San Diego Business Journal was a champion last year with us, and they have absolutely been so instrumental this year with helping us get the word out about this conference. Since Barb Shotos has taken over at that journal, she has done an amazing job. If you haven't noticed all of these very diversity, inclusive types of events that they're doing and trying to highlight different aspects of our community to make sure that those underrepresented voices get heard and get appreciated for the work they're doing. So we've got them. We have Conscious Capitalism San Diego and Conscious Capitalism International involved. We have Laz Parking. Who doesn't know Laz Parking, right? I mean, every other day I'm parking in one of their parking garages. And then we also have Optima Office. Delinda Forsyth, by the way, an amazing co-executive director. She actually wrote a book called Inspiring Generational Leadership. She's going to be talking about that at the conference a little bit. We also have Sempra. They're coming back on board this year. Our co-chairs this year are Soraya Alexander. She's from Classy and GoFundMe. And then Mitch Mitchell. If y'all know Mitch, he is well ingrained here in the philanthropy community. He works for Sempra, SDG&E. We have San Diego College of Continuing Education on board, University of San Diego Housing Federation, My Point Credit Union, Sharp, obviously we're hosting there, Better Business Bureau, Donation Match, VentureX San Diego. So we're just very, very fortunate to have all these groups coming together, realizing that our theme for this year, together, we're better than any of us alone.
No, without question on that. Neville, any final comments?
Well, I'll link it back to the first part of the episode where you said that the Statue of Liberty in 1983 might have been one of the pivot points in this work. Maybe we need a statue of accountability on this coast to support the Statue of Liberty on the West Coast, because we can all be accountable and we can all show up better. We can be more conscious leaders. We can be more thoughtful in whatever enterprise we're in. And here's a galvanization of that whole group. So if this resonates, you want to make a difference, we can do it better together. you want to play nice in the sandbox and actually get spit done. I was going to say another word, but I moderated myself. Then we'd love to have you join us, and I think we could really make an impactful outcome of this.
I think that's a great idea because that's the 40th anniversary of that Statue of Liberty fundraising. So maybe it's a good thing to start and look at Statue of Liberty 2.0 or West Coast as it is on this. Well, Staci, wishing you nothing but great success with COS San Diego and the conference itself. Neville, always great to have your insights on what you're doing personally and with the organizations you work with, and of course with Mission Fed and Kamara. It's with the tear in my eye that I say goodbye to you. You've been a great co-host. How many weeks have you done this now?
5. This is
5
my
weeks,
5th
my
time.
goodness.
Yeah.
You've done a great job. Wishing you nothing but great success at St. Martin's College. Come back and visit us when you have a break, and maybe we'll get you in
Absolutely.
there at winter break. And I know Charles would say we'd love to have her go ahead and do some guest co-hosting, and we know you're going to be a great success. And
Thank you.
Doing great things up there.
Thank you. But yes, I would love that. Yeah.
Okay, consider-
Come back and help us with COS San Diego. We are all, by the way, we're 100% volunteer led entity. We don't have any paid staff. And if anyone wants to join our team, we're always looking for new people to help us.
Yeah. No, I'd love to get your info after. Yeah. Thank you.
That sounds great. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 17th year in these phenomenal Mission Fed studio in Scripps Ranch. And Mission Fed has been just doing terrific things, continue to do it for 60 plus years, and they'll be doing it for 60 plus years more. Hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.